Now let's take a look at the function of sleep. Slow wave sleep increases after exercise. So it was initially thought that that could be really helpful for restoration and recovery. However, that seems to be related actually to the heating up of our bodies with exercise, which heats up our brains. And we can achieve the same thing just by heating the head with a blow dryer. So just putting a blow dryer to a person's head long enough to heat up their brain just a little tiny bit will increase slow wave sleep. So we no longer think that slow wave sleep is caused by exercise. In fact, if individuals are kept cool by having water sprinkled on them while they're exercising, they don't show an increase in slow wave sleep. REM rebound is seen if there's a REM deprivation. So REM rebound is that if you prevent someone from getting enough REM sleep, there are drugs that will do this. So a lot of actual sleeping aids, amazingly, actually prevent REM sleep, but there are other drugs and other techniques that you can use to keep a person from going into REM sleep. If you do that for 1 or 2 nights in a row, when they do get to sleep normally, they will spend more time in REM than they would otherwise, and that's the REM rebound. And so we see that REM is sort of preserved. If you're deprived of it, you're going to get more of it to kind of get caught up. REM is associated with neurodevelopment in childhood, and so we can see that it's kind of important because of that. In addition, sleep controls genes that are involved in neurodevelopment, and REM sleep in particular is sort of associated with activation of those genes. In addition, there's synchronization of brain waves in the hippocampus with brain waves in areas that were involved in learning. So this linkage of activity in the hippocampus that's storing the memory and the part of the brain that was involved during the event. And this is called neuronal replay. Now let's take a look here on the right. I just have an example of what the synchronization kind of looks like. And each one of these lines is EEG data from a different recording site. So these are different electrodes placed on different parts of the brain. And what we're seeing is where I drew this red line, we can see that there's a peak in all these different parts of the brain at the same exact time. That would be an example of synchronization. So you start seeing that more and more neurons in different parts of the brain are having a peak at the exact same time, and that's an example of synchronization. Now we see this increased synchronization and neuronal replay where the hippocampus and another area of the brain are synchronized together. And we think that that is allowing for long-term potentiation to occur. Now, 4 to 7 days after learning, the brain waves become desynchronized. This may allow for old or inaccurate neural connections to be deleted. Remember long-term depression? The removal of the changes that LTP brings about. So if LTP creates new synapses and new receptors, long-term depression will get rid of them. And so it's sort of a pruning or an unlearning that is really important. Both REM and slow wave sleep are shown to be very important. Neuronal replay occurs in both, but it's strongest during non-REM sleep. Replay during non-REM sleep is accompanied by a 200 millisecond burst of 100 to 200 hertz activity. These are called ripples that are generated by the hippocampus, and here's kind of what they look like. These activate the default mode network in the brain. Remember, that's the one that's sort of ready to go, but not actively doing anything at the moment. With more intense learning, we see more ripples, and this seems to improve memory consolidation. Sleep improves performance after learning a motor skill. It turns out that both REM and slow wave sleep are needed for memory consolidation. So when individuals learn a motor skill during the day, and then we interfere with their sleep, we see that really slow wave sleep early in the night and REM sleep later in the night are both critically important for learning that skill and their performance the next day.